And a hearty thanks to all of you, I'd like to add, for venturing to the museum this evening. Because of the inspiration and virtuosity of the man of the hour, Giovanni Francesco Barbieri, I'm happy to unequivocally announce that the program tonight is a guaranteed, complete, total, and utter success without question. The most important, the largest, and the first acquirer of the 17 paintings in this, the museum's great gallery, in which our large-format European Baroque pictures are displayed, is, of course, the crowning of St. Catherine, painted by the Flemish master Peter Paul Rubens at the very outset of the 1630s as an altarpiece for an Augustinian church in the city of Mechelen, located in Flanders, present-day Belgium. Normally occupying pride of place on the center of the wall behind me, we have temporarily moved the museum's icon to the center of the south wall. Why, one justifiably might inquire? A simple response. With the passage of 26 years since the last Italian Baroque picture entered the collection, Artemisia Gentileschi's Lot and His Daughters, which hangs to my left, we celebrate a momentous occasion as we present Giovanni Francesco Barbieri's newly acquired canvas, coincidentally and quite wonderfully representing the very same subject. Described as, and I quote, a masterpiece showing Guercino's late period at its very best, end quote, by the British art historian Nichols Turner in an article that just appeared in the periodical Master Drawings, our recent acquisition deservedly shines front and center for the next months ahead. Who was Barbieri, and why have I also referred to him by a second name, Guercino? Born Giovanni Francesco Barbieri in 1591 in Cento, Emilia, northern Italy, a town 20 miles from Bologna, Ferrara, and Modena, our artist would live until the year 1616. At an early stage in his life, he came to be known as Guercino, which means in Italian, squinty, or the squinter, on account of his being cross-eyed, possibly caused by being dropped as an infant. Largely self-taught, he would become one of the standouts of Italian painting in a century of greats. Throughout the course of his long career, Guercino was a prodigious draftsman. More than 1,200 sheets from his hand have survived, as well as a prolific painter. Some 400 paintings are known. He commenced work in his native Cento, resided for a couple of years in nearby Bologna, and in 1621 heeded the call to Rome of the just-elected Bolognese Pope, Alessandro Ludovisi, a.k.a. Pope Gregory XV. There, only for 2 short years that the Pope reigned, Guercino made a name for himself. Among his accomplishments, he frescoed a palace ceiling for the Pope and painted an altarpiece for St. Peter's, which is still there. His career was launched. Back in Cento, Guercino continued to garner important commissions, religious and private alike, including one to fresco the cupola of the cathedral in Piacenza. In 1642, at the death of the then leading master known as Il Divino, the Divine One, an artist named Guido Reni, an example by whom hangs to my right, Guercino set up shop in Bologna for good. The commissions continued to come in, and though he painted for Charles I of England, as well as the Secretary of Louis XIV of France, in addition to being visited by Queen Christina of Sweden, Guercino refused to become court painter in London or Versailles, relishing his native Emilia. In 1650, a Genoese nobleman and collector, who possibly also was a dealer in art, Girolamo Panesi, commissioned his 6th work from Guercino, a canvas that was to have the subject of Lot and His Daughters. The painter completed his composition for Panesi, But before he could take possession of it, the painting was bought by one Commendatore Luigi Manzini and given to the Duke of Modena when he shortly thereafter visited Bologna. Today, the picture I just spoke of is the composition in the museum in Dresden, where it's been since it was acquired in 1744. Guercino then began a second picture intended for Panesi, but it too was spoken for by nobility, in this instance by the wife of Carlo Gonzaga, Duke of Mantua. This second canvas is in Paris, where it entered the Louvre in 1817. Finally, by mid-decade, Panesi got his painting when Guercino executed the present canvas. Each of the three compositions associated with the Panesi Commission is different. They are not versions, rather unique solutions to the problem of how to depict the salacious narrative. A second Guercino specialist, Professor David Stone of the University of Delaware, counseled me as I was evaluating this painting, and is quoted independently in the Blade this week, that he finds the now Toledo composition, quote, the most psychologically sophisticated. Professor Stone is referring to the unique manner in which the protagonists in our painting are contrasted. The daughters contriving and carrying out their plan at left, their imbibing and soon-to-be besotted father supporting himself on the ground at right. The narrative is brilliantly and lucidly rendered. Guercino, with his able brush, captures the physicality of things: turban, jug, drapery, flames, flesh, no less than the intangible, the psychology of mental activity, witness subtle gestures and telling facial expressions. A major Guercino has been identified as needed for the collection for decades. On my fourth day of employment here in December 1992, I wrote a memo listing him as a desideratum. So the search has been an ongoing one. But following the maxim, it is better to do without than to settle for second rate, my predecessors, whose successes were many, practiced patience as I did. We all wanted a major Guercino of the right scale, in impeccable condition, and manifesting that vital criteria, quality. Exactly about this time a year ago, I was visited by two dealers in old master paintings, one based in New York, the other in Florence. Standing in this very gallery, they said to me, "So, what are you looking for?" To which I quickly retorted, "A grand Guercino would be nice." I could see the flashbulbs going off in their noggins. But a month later, they sent me an image of this painting. And in May, I saw the painting itself in New York. Then Museum Director Don Bacigalupi, who staunchly supported the acquisition of this work from the outset, green-lighted bringing the work here in June for continued consideration. Over the next months, I continued my homework, and in September, Don and I presented the picture to the museum's trustee art committee, who favorably assessed and approved our recommendation. Negotiations with the dealers began and were concluded. The painting was ours. To tell you about the biblical subject and its significance, it now gives me the greatest pleasure to introduce Father James Basic of Corpus Christi University Parish, to whom the museum is sincerely grateful for his participation in this program. Father Basic.